Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wednesday afternoon conference call with Trusts Unlimited. This is Jim George speaking. I'm the non-attorney spokesman and facilitator for Trusts Unlimited, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to this call. Today is May 21st. There's a lot going on in Iraq. There's a lot going on in the United States. I'm going to try to abbreviate because there is so much going on, and discuss how close we are to the event we're all looking forward to. First, by way of disclaimer, Trusts Unlimited is not the purveyor of the dinar and these other currencies. We're not advocating either the sale or purchase of these currencies, but as rather substantial currency holders ourselves, we're sharing with you the information to be most relevant. Of course, the most relevant piece of information would be a date and a rate, and no sane person is going to give you a date or a rate, but we can talk about generally a window for a reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar. For those of us that have currencies, this has been a painstakingly long process. It's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back for a number of years, but there are a lot of things going on that give us reason to believe that this thing's going to be over rather shortly. Progress with regard to the deletion of the zeros is moving forward. This, of course, will result in the elimination of the parallel market, and then we will see the release of a new exchange rate. Now, in my opinion, that exchange rate's already in the budget that has been passed. It's embedded in Article 12-2C of the budget. So for all of these reasons, I think we're rather close. One of the problems that continues to persist is, of course, the issue of safety and stability. And that brings to mind not only Iran, but the Iranian officials within the nation state of Iraq. Iran's been a bad player long before all of this started, so it's not a surprise that they continue to be a problem. However, the sitting president, President Trump, is a catalyst, in my opinion, for resolving these issues internationally, and domestically. And let me run through some of the issues that he's pushing through. The Treasury Department, the Trump administration Treasury Department is pushing hard for them to dot the I's and cross the T's on their monetary reform within the country. Trump is well aware of the problem that Iran is causing, and he's kind of used a carrot and a stick approach. He wants to see the nation state of Iran prosper. He wants to see the Iranian citizens prosper. He wants to see the reinstitution of the rial. But he also wants Iran to obey international law and to stop interfering in the affairs of other nations. He's also levied the threat that the crippling sanctions on Iran will continue and will get worse if they continue to be a bad player in the area. So that's good as well. Domestically, Donald Trump repeatedly talks about a new golden age. I've discussed this in the past, but it's worth repeating. This new golden age that he's referring to actually harkens back to what was referred to as the first golden age of America, the period where the United States became a truly wealthy nation. It was a period roughly between 1880 and 1910, prior to the creation of the Federal Reserve and its funding mechanism, the federal income tax. This period of time was also referred to as the Gilded Age, and it's when the United States became a truly wealthy nation, done externally through tariffs, not through a confiscatory federal income tax. So he's pointing to the future that we can all look forward to, and he's got 3 years to try to get that implemented. Now, how is he doing this? Well, we have DOGE, the Office of Governmental Efficiency, that's trying to ferret out waste, fraud, and abuse. And to date, they're close to $1 trillion that they think that they can take out of the budget over the next few years, and that's huge. The second thing that he is utilizing are tariffs. Now, the objective of the tariff ultimately is to bring manufacturing back to the United States. But what is a tariff? Basically, it's a tax imposed on other governments for importing their goods and services. Now, by doing this, he's raising revenues, he's protecting domestic industry, and he's trying to equalize trade among nations. But basically, he wants to bring manufacturing and wealth back to the United States. He's also said that he wanted to create something referred to as a sovereign wealth fund. Now, a sovereign wealth fund is basically a fund accumulated by the government, ultimately for the benefit of the citizens. This is accomplished through finding or working towards surpluses, which is the objective of Dove, through the tariffs, which he's initiating, and through state revenues to oil, natural resources, things like that, basically being returned ultimately to the citizens of the United States. But the creation of a sovereign wealth fund actually is the end result of what his true objective is, which is to end the Federal Reserve. It's always been his objective, and he's been moving toward that. First, he's starting to take their allowance away by reducing federal income taxes. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the big one, no tax on Social Security. There's only one other step beyond that, and that is to substantially reduce or eliminate the federal income tax. And, of course, the way to replace that, of course, is through tariffs, and it's been done before, so it can be done again. So what he's trying to create is a free people's money pursuant to Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution. But there's another part of the Constitution that's very important. Okay, that's the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, our right to privacy. And those of us that have currencies and are anticipating a substantial amount of wealth, and overnight, even though we've held currency, some of us, for decades, but literally overnight, we could become very wealthy individuals with the reinstitution and revaluation of the Iraqi dinar and some of the other currencies that we're holding. But there are certain benefits available to American citizens via the Fourth Amendment that you can utilize by establishing a trust package like the ones that we have been providing for our customers for going on 2 decades now. And I want to review with you the benefits, because everything going on in this country right now is leading toward this country returning to genuine wealth. We're transitioning away from a Keynesian debt model, and we're moving to a completely different system. A system where we accumulate this wealth, we protect this wealth for ourselves and our family, as well as for the nation at large. This is why they wanted to create, or why he wants to create, a sovereign wealth fund. But in my view, the creation of a sovereign wealth fund simultaneously means the end of the Federal Reserve and the debt system that we've been operating under for over 100 years. Now, there are certain benefits of establishing a trust, and they go beyond whether or not you have currencies. If you're an individual that has dinar and other currencies, in my opinion, I think you're going to experience a substantial increase in your net worth in the not-too-distant future. And there are things you need to do preemptively to protect that wealth for yourself and generationally for your family. So by establishing our trust package, you will be able to protect this wealth for yourself and, of course, into the future. The benefits are as follows. First, by establishing this trust package, you're going to protect your privacy and your anonymity, because by establishing your trust pre-RV, in addition to protecting your privacy and your anonymity, you will make it extremely difficult, if not impossible, for anyone to successfully sue you. And frivolous lawsuits simply cannot succeed. Second, by establishing this trust package, you're going to be able to avoid IRS scrutiny. By establishing this trust pre-RV, you're significantly avoiding the possibility of an IRS audit. And any such audit would necessarily be confined to the year in which the RV occurred, as there are no other taxable events prior to the revaluation. The trust will allow you to avoid gift taxes and pre-RV gifting. By gifting pre-RV currencies to friends and family through your trust, you will avoid any federal gift tax and simultaneously control the post-RV proceeds. And this could be very important when you have beneficiaries that are children or invalids or people that have other problems. The trust will allow you to avoid the cost and delay of probate and the federal estate tax. Your trust will allow your estate to bypass the cost and delay of probate by making inheritance immediately available to your heirs. It will also allow you to avoid the federal estate tax, which can be as high as 55% of your estate, in excess of $12 million. And lastly, there are some preemptive asset protection benefits. By placing your pre-RV currencies in trust, only the value of those currencies at the time of the transfer would ever be subject to a civil suit against you. And by placing each individual asset in your control through this trust, you will be able to segregate them in separate sub-trusts, which could limit any potential civil suit post-RV. This package protects you pre-RV, it protects you post-RV, it protects your wealth, it protects the passage of that wealth to your heirs. Now, this can only be accomplished through the establishment of your asset protection trust. So this is a shorter call today for the very simple reason that I have a lot of people to contact. A lot of people, in my opinion, rightly believe that this thing's going to happen rather soon, and some people are literally begging me to call them today. I'm going to do my best to do so, and I'm going to be on the phone right after this call. As a matter of fact, I've gotten several questions on my phone here as I'm talking to you today, so I'm going to have to do my best to get to these individuals. Now, for those of you that have been kind enough to listen to these calls but have not contacted us to get your initial no-obligation package, I strongly suggest that you do so. You can contact us by phone or email, and we'll be happy to get our initial trust package out to you. It does contain everything you need if you wish to proceed, but you're under no obligation to do so. You can review the package, contact us directly if you have any questions. We'll be happy to assist you. And again, if you're ready to proceed, everything you need will be in that package. Now, you can contact us by email or phone. Our email address is trusts with an S, unlimited LLC @gmail.com. That's trusts with an S, unlimited LLC @gmail.com, or our phone service, which is 307-274-4122. That's 307-274-4122. Again, contact us by email or phone. We'll be happy to assist you in every way. I apologize that this is a little bit shorter call today, but I'm going to need to get back to a number of individuals. Several are very concerned that they're not going to get their trust package in prior to the revaluation. Once we have your application and your initial fee, you should have your trust package within 72 hours. All you have to do is execute the documents instructed. Your trust will be enforced. Your currencies will be legally assigned to the trust, and all of the benefits that I've discussed here today you will enjoy. So again, thanks so much for listening to the call. Our next call will be next Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Certainly, if something of a dramatic nature were to happen between now and then, we will try to get out an emergency email and schedule an emergency conference call. Now, I was going to pop out of this call right now, but I see that a number of people seem to have some questions, so I guess I should go ahead and try to answer some of these questions. Let's see. I'm going to open the Q&A. And for some reason, I'm incorrect. There are no questions in the Q&A. Again, well, now some people are jumping into the Q&A. So let me go ahead and take the first question here. This is caller. The number is 347. That's 347. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Praveen from New York. I have I heard that Israel may plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities. Now, if that happens, will that if the Iraqi dinar is revalued by that, will it push it back even further?
Well, certainly anything of that nature is not good news, and I wouldn't be truthful if I said it might not have some a delaying effect to the reinstitution. However, Iran has successfully made itself a pariah in the Middle East. So if any country is probably going to be ignored by the World Trade Organization, the IMF, other institutions, especially countries and individuals, some of the hedge funds that have invested heavily in Iraq, they're not going to want that to be an issue. An attack on Iran from Israel should not affect Iraq, in my opinion. But obviously, we don't want anything to happen in the Middle East that could potentially delay anything. But I think Iraq's on a glide path, and I don't think what's going on in Iran will be a factor. Okay?
Well, also, with the Gaza, I mean, Israel's not going to stop in Gaza either.
Yeah, but again, those are peculiar to Israel and to Iran, not Iraq. I really don't see that affecting what's going on in Iraq. And frankly, I don't think the current administration is going to let that affect what's going on in Iraq.
I mean, hopefully not, but Trump has to rein in Israel.
Yes, I agree. But my point is, however that goes, I think Iraq's on its own glide path. They're separating themselves from a lot of the hysteria going on in the Middle East. It's been going on long before we got involved in this, and unfortunately it looks like it's going to be going on long thereafter. But a sovereign nation needs to have its own currency, and because of the peculiar situation that happened in Iraq, we were able to purchase their currency at a program rate and then go to the bank to exchange it at a Basel compliant rate. So, it's not good news what's going on there, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to affect what Iraq does.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly. Okay, our next caller is area code 978. That's 978. Go ahead.
Hi, Tim. It's Leslie calling from Massachusetts, and I have a quick question. As you know, there's all sorts of information, that various gurus are posting out on the Internet. Some would tell you that it revalued last week, and we're just waiting for, whatever. Others are saying that we have to wait for the Iraqi economy to improve before they revalue the currency. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, opinions vary. When Iraqi dinar hits the 4X, we'll go to the bank to do the exchange. If Soudani has made solemn promises about getting this done, he said he was going to get it done this year. He didn't quite get there, although the argument is, was he talking about a calendar year or fiscal year? The reason I think that we should be optimistic is because we have an administration, current administration, that wants to get this done and has been systematically moving obstacles to getting this done. The U.S. Treasury is at the 7th floor of the CBI in Iraq right now, and they're not there for no good reason. So I think that we have a rainmaker in the White House right now, and he wants to get this done. As a matter of fact, part of the sovereign fund that I was talking about is funded by it's going to be funded by a lot of these currencies. If you look at the list of the things on the sovereign fund, one of the things that it specifically says is international currencies. So the mere fact that Trump's talking about a new golden age, the mere fact that he's talking about the creation of this sovereign fund, the fact that he's dealing directly with Iraq, and the fact that he's dealing directly with Iran all mean that we're moving in the right direction. But the Middle East has always been a complicated mixed bag, and unfortunately that's not going to change. And just like the rest of you, I just want to go to the bank, exchange my currency, and then let them sort their own problems out. So that's the way I look at that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate the info.
Sure. Bye-bye now. Okay, our next caller is area code 509. That's 509. Go ahead.
Hello, Jim. This is Art on the left coast of Washington State. It's interesting. We go from Massachusetts to Washington State all in one fell swoop. Isn't that awesome?
That's technology.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out, there's some like anecdotal information, some don't, but there's a urban legend that's out there that I have to point out. And I think this may help people think that it's going to happen really quick. That is, for what it's worth, in the middle of the night last night, I woke up and both my palms were itching. And just for what it's worth, it's always been, that if your palms are itching, that means that money's coming your way. So I just want to point out that I think we might be on the edge of this taking place. I'm not involved. I'm not the.
It might mean you have dry skin, and it might mean you have a little dry skin.
Well, I've watched the Dr. Gundry, and we have olive oil. I'll put olive oil on from his recommendations up. You put olive oil on your skin and on your hands and palms and what have you. It's supposed to soften.
We're really getting far. We're getting far.
Yeah, we are.
Here.
But that's all I wanted to say. I think, for what it's worth, if it were true, in my humble but semi-accurate opinion, that we're right there. So, talk to you later, brother. You have a great day, and I'll go from there.
Okay.
Bye.
You take care. All right. Bye-bye now. Okay, our next caller is area code 443. That's 443. Go ahead.
Hi, Jim. It's Gina from Maryland.
Hi, Gina. How are you?
I am all right. I have a question for you regarding the iBuyDinar.com and the SafeDinar.com. I've not used those sites. Do you? I've heard other people talk about them, so is there confidence in them? Do you suggest people maybe do like a...
All I can say is I've personally used both of them and purchased currencies from both of them. I got the currencies in a timely fashion, and I've never had a problem. But that's my experience.
Okay. So you just pay like with a credit card or whatever, and it's
You'll go and you'll make the order you want. You'll pay with a credit card, and they'll give you a delivery date. You give them address where you want it sent, and I did that, and in every case it was delivered. They emailed me to say that it was sent, and I went and picked it up, and I've never had a problem.
And was it like signed receipt? Did you have to sign for it, or it just was in your mailbox?
Well, yeah, I had to prove I was who I said I was, and I got the package.
Oh, so it went to the post office.
It went to a pack and send, and it had them as the sender, me as the recipient, and they wanted to see my ID. I showed them my ID. I signed off and walked out. I was out of there in 2 minutes.
Okay. So go somewhere like that. So so they're tracking it, and then
they'll ask you where to send it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Or they might say they might give you in other words, when they when you tell them who you are, where you're from, your address, they'll look in their system and they'll see the place that's near you, and they may say, "Well, do you want us to drop it off here or there?" So it's not complicated.
Got it. Okay. It
right?
seems a little scary, but you know what? I purchased precious metals and they arrived at my house, so I'm assuming it'll work out. I just have to go somewhere and pick it up. All right, that was it. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. Bye-bye
Bye-bye.
now. Okay, our next caller is area code 954. That's 954. Go ahead.
Hi, Jim.
Is this Bossy?
Hello, Jim. Yes. Hi, Jim. Nice talking to you. And I could have texted you. Anyway, my question, why Trust Unlimited is not doing only the irrevocable? Why not revocable? And is there a big difference? Or
Well, when I reviewed the benefits of the trust, you have no privacy or anonymity with a revocable trust.
Okay.
And that in and of itself was sufficient. Then we get into the issues of avoiding probate, eliminating the federal estate tax, the ability to set up sub-trusts for individual assets, segregate them. A revocable trust it just doesn't have the things that we need to create a sophisticated trust package.
Okay, great. And some one or two very minute questions like, I'm waiting for the paralegal to call me. That's one. And second one, I'm waiting for any more questions or anything. I will text you. And
I'm writing down your phone number. I'm going to contact the paralegal after this call and see where we are. And if we have any issues at all, I'll get back to you. If not, we'll see that you get your trust as quickly as possible.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Right?
Further
Certainly.
questions or anything, I will text you. And thank you for a quick reply to the text I make. Whatever I made, you replied quick. Thank you very much. Bye now.
Certainly. Bye-bye now. Okay, our next caller is area code 785. That's 785. Go ahead.
Hi, Jim. My question is, I was reading some guru stuff here, and one gentleman talks about the deletion of the zeros. So the question is, if it goes 3-to-1, but the $25,000 dinar, they'd knock off the zeros, it would be worth $25. And then at 3-to-1, your $25 note would be worth $75. That's his.
Right. Well, that's in my opinion based on a false assumption. The deletion of the zeros has to do with the monetary policy in country in Iraq, and I'm quite sure that if that were true, that would be news to the central banks that have purchased trillions of dinar, to the hedge funds and whales that have purchased billions of dinar, along with other currencies as well. So the deletion of the zeros is a function of the monetary policy in country. It has to do with controlling inflation in country. It has nothing to do with the good faith purchase of the 3-0 provisional currency internationally.
I guess what I was looking at there, if your $25,000 dinar note.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the deletion of the zeros was a global phenomenon and not an in-country phenomenon, then it would affect us. However, it won't. That has to do with controlling of inflation and the monetary policy within the nation state of Iraq. Has nothing to do with the countries, firms, and individuals that purchased the provisional currency to assist Iraq.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Certainly. Bye-bye now. Well, that was our last caller for this afternoon. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to this call. As I've said before, our next call will be next Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Certainly, if something of a dramatic nature were to happen between now and then, we'll try to get out an emergency email and schedule an emergency conference call. Between now and then, if the things we've discussed are of interest, I strongly suggest you contact us to get our initial no-obligation package. Again, you can contact us by email or phone. Our email address is Trusts with an S, Unlimited LLC @gmail.com, and our phone service is 307-274-4122. Contact us by email or phone. We'll get our trust package out to you as quickly as we possibly can. Given the current situation in Iraq, I strongly suggest that you not waste any time. Get that initial package, review it, and if you want to proceed, everything's in the package. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back again next week, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Have a great week, everyone, and thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye now.